So did you always want to know what the best stock attachment is for the FFAR1 as well as the MAC-10? In this video, we're going to tell you which one is the best, breaking down the stats for all the last 3 stock attachments. If you enjoy videos like this, weapon stat breakdowns, weapon comparisons, and overall tips and tricks for Warzone, subscribe to the channel as we're trying to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers, and also follow us over on Twitch. We will be live streaming very soon. So like I said, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the last 3 stock attachments for both the FFAR1 as well as the MAC-10, as they are the most popular that everyone uses, and we're going to try and work out which one is actually the best. Getting straight into this, the first thing we're going to look at is all of the stock attachments for the FFAR1. Now, like I said, we only tested the last 3 and we tested them very thoroughly for absolutely everything. But we'll quickly just run over what you have available. So you've got the tactical stock, which gives you faster aim-walking movement speed. You've got the marathon stock, which gives you a faster sprint to fire time. Then you've got a faster slide speed with a duster pad. You've then got the CQB pad, which is one of the ones that we tested, and this gives you a faster sprint to fire time, and it does give you a con to hip fire accuracy. Then the SAS Combat stock gives you faster firing movement speed and faster ADS firing movement speed, and also aim walking movement speed bonus too. And then you get a con to hip fire accuracy. Now, all of these give you a con to hip fire accuracy. Again, the Raider stock gives you a con to hip fire accuracy, and then it gives you faster ADS firing speed, faster aim walking movement speed, and a faster sprint to fire time. So these are all the kind of pros and cons you get with each of these attachments. But the main thing I want to show you first of all for the last 3 attachments is the hip fire charts first of all. The main thing we want to check here is how bad is the hip fire accuracy with these last 3 attachments, because if the hip fire accuracy is so bad, we might not use a certain attachment here. So on screen, you'll see the hip fire chart. Now, these were all taken at about a 4-meter distance, and we have the base weapon on the very left. We then have the CQB pad, the SAS Combat stock, and then the Raider stock. And it's quite clear that the CQB pad as well as the Raider stock are doing the best in terms of hip fire accuracy. Now, I'm not too sure if this is just kind of random, because sometimes when I do it at a slightly further away distance, the SAS Combat stock looks better than the Raider stock. So I feel like this is just kind of down to a bit of randomness in my opinion. But what is consistent here is that the CQB pad does perform the best out of all of them. So that is pretty consistent after my testing. So in terms of hip fire accuracy, the CQB pad is definitely the best. Now with that out of the way, we know what the cons are with the last 3 attachments in terms of hip fire, but what are the pros? So for the SAS Combat stock, you get firing movement speed bonus, an aim walking movement speed bonus, and an ADS firing movement speed bonus as well. But then we also need to look into sprint to fire times, because that's what you get with the CQB pad as well as the Raider stock. So what we did is we tested all 4 of these things for the last 3 attachments, just to make sure that nothing else is changing when we're using these different attachments, because we all know that Raven software like to put in secret stats. So on the screen now, you will see all the things that we tested for the last 3 stock attachments. In blue, we have the tactical sprint to fire time for all of the stocks. In yellow, we have the firing movement speed for all of the stocks. In pink, we have the aim walking movement speed for all of the stocks. And then in green, we have the ADS firing movement speed for all of the stocks. Looking at the CQB pad, first of all, we've got a tactical sprint to fire time of 283 milliseconds. Then for the firing movement speed, it's 4 meters per second. Then for the aim walking movement speed is 2.27 meters per second. The ADS firing movement speed is 2.28 meters per second. Then we have the SAS Combat stock, and that's 400 milliseconds for the tactical sprint to fire. Then we have a firing movement speed of 4.16 meters per second. Then an aim walking movement speed of 3.13 meters per second. And an ADS firing movement speed of 3.26 meters per second. Then lastly, for the Raider stock, we have a 283 millisecond tactical sprint to fire time, a 3.85 firing movement speed, an aim walking movement speed of 3 meters per second, and then it's 3.94 meters per second for the ADS firing movement speed. Then also below that, we have the base weapon for reference. I'm not going to go over that. Now, trying to work out which one is the best overall attachment, it's going to be personal preference here, because if you value sprint to fire times, then you want to use the CQB pad or the Raider stock. But if you're valuing the firing movement speed or the aim walking movement speed, you'd want to use the SAS Combat stock. But in my opinion, if I had to pick one of these, I would pick the Raider stock. And the reason for that is because, but then you do get the best of both worlds when it comes to firing movement speed, aim walking movement speed, ADS firing movement speed, which is what it's the best at. And then you also get that tactical sprint to fire bonus as well. So in my opinion, I do think the Raider stock is the best stock for the FFAR1. And like I said, that hipfire chart is not 100% accurate because doing it at different distances gave slightly different results. But you're not really going to be hip firing past 4 meters in my opinion, even with the FFAR1. So like I said, my personal pick here would be the Raider stock. So next we're going to take a look at the MAC-10, and for the MAC-10 stock attachments, you've got a tactical stock, which gives you aim walking movement speed bonus. Again, this is very similar to the FFAR1. You've got the wire stock, which gives you a sprint to fire bonus. You've then got the duster stock that gives you a slide speed bonus, but all of these have no cons as you can see. Then for the no stock, you get a hip fire accuracy con, but you do get that sprint to fire bonus. Then for the SAS Combat stock, it's very similar to the FFAR1, where you get a firing movement speed bonus, an aim walking movement speed bonus, and an ADS firing move speed bonus, and then a con to your hip fire accuracy. And again, lastly for the Raider stock, you've got an ADS firing move speed bonus, an aim walking movement speed bonus, and a sprint to fire bonus, and then again you get a con to your hip fire accuracy. So again, we're going to pull up that hipfire chart again, but this time it's going to be for the MAC-10. And what we can see is the base weapon on the very left, then we have the no stock attachment, then the SAS Combat stock, and then the Raider stock. And again, this was done at a 4 meter distance. And again, what you can see here is that the no stock performs really well. Now this time around, the SAS Combat stock actually does better than the Raider stock on the MAC-10. So again, the Raider stock has the worst hipfire accuracy on this one. The base weapon actually does pretty well too, but that's obviously because this is an SMG and hip firing is going to be a lot better than on an assault rifle. But like I said, in my opinion, I do think the no stock attachment has the best hipfire accuracy here, just because those bullets are more clustered towards the center and not spread out all over the place. And then the Raider stock is definitely the worst. And then once again, we tested all these values once over, but this time round, it was for the MAC-10, of course. So we're looking at the no stock attachment, the SAS Combat stock, and the Raider stock, and we tested tactical sprint to fire again, firing movement speed again, aim walking movement speed again, and ADS firing movement speed. What you can see on screen now is that for the no stock attachment, for the tactical sprint to fire, it's 200 milliseconds. Then for the firing move speed is 4 meters per second. Aim walking movement speed is 3.19 meters per second. ADS firing movement speed is 3.12 meters per second. Then for the SAS Combat stock, the tactical sprint to fire is 250 milliseconds. Then you've got a firing movement speed of 4.35 meters per second, an aim walking movement speed of 3.57 meters per second, and an ADS firing movement speed of 4 meters per second. Then lastly for the Raider stock, you've got a tactical sprint to fire of 200 milliseconds. Then you've got a firing movement speed of 4.16 meters per second. Then you've got an aim walking movement speed of 3.41 meters per second and an ADS firing movement speed of 3.65 meters per second. And just below that, like before, you've got the base weapon just for reference. Now, if we're trying to pick out which one is the best here, once again, looking at the tactical sprint to fire, it's clear that the no stock as well as the Raider stock are performing the best here because they do give you that 200 millisecond sprint to fire time. But then if you're looking for the overall kind of movement speed bonus for firing movement speed, aim walking movement speed, and ADS firing movement speed, the Raider stock will be the best. But if you're only concerned about ADS firing movement speed, aim walking movement speed, then the SAS Combat stock is the best. So if you're looking for the balance of everything, in my opinion, then I would go for the Raider stock once again on the MAC-10. So I do think the Raider stock overall is the best attachment. So some things to take away overall from this video. If you do want an overall balance and the overall best attachment, the Raider stock for both the MAC-10 and the FFAR1 is the best in my opinion. And that way you're getting a benefit of absolutely everything. But when it comes down to which one not to use, I would definitely not use the CQB pad on the FFAR, and I would definitely not use the no stock on the MAC-10. Now, I was a huge fan of no stock on the MAC-10 for a long time, but now I've actually switched it to the Raider stock. But a really important thing I do want to point out here is that a lot of people love that strafing speed that you get when you're firing an ADS at the same time, and you're only going to get the maximum bonus for that when you're using the SAS Combat stock for both of the weapons. A lot of people are really enjoying having that strafe speed, so it's going to be down to personal preference here. If you want an all-round balance, choose the Raider stock, but if you want the fastest strafe speed possible for both of these guns, choose the SAS Combat stock. Hopefully you've learned something new from this video. I know a lot of people are using different stock attachments for both of these guns, and they are very popular guns, and there is a big debate on which ones are the best, so hopefully this clears it all up. On top of that, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like, as it helps us get recommended more, and we do appreciate the support on the channel. It does take a while to put together videos like this. Subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 10,000 subscribers. Also, make sure you follow us over on Twitch as well, as we're trying to grow over there, and we will be streaming very soon. And thank you very much for watching.